We're not Bentley grad students here. We are external consultants.
As we launched Boston essentially as a break-even proposition in the first year.
I truly believe that Bloomberg came to Bentley to find a different perspective, something that they didn't know.
The challenge as we go forward is, on these other markets, can we do the same thing?
To Al, we are advising him on Bloomberg's next business move.
If we can't, how close can we get?
Corporate immersion is different from any other academic experience you could have. Number one, it has a real company with a real current business problem. Number two, company management comes to every single class. Corporate immersion is not about business. It is business.
Each week, I have the privilege of getting in front of 65 really smart people that haven't experienced anything. They don't have any preconceived notions.
So we looked at a lot of factors, but what were the four that we felt the strongest about? 1, income. Does the market have buying power? 2,
we feel the pressure. We feel like we need to perform to a certain ability every week. Because I mean, if you're just working with a case study, like, oh, are you really gonna read it? Are you just gonna skim it? Or are you just going to listen and hopefully you can put in your 2 cents during a class?
It's not as structured as it was on the syllabus, but it's also more exciting because it isn't structured. It's more spontaneous.
By giving some basic information and asking them to look dispassionately at the facts, they're starting to paint a very great picture as to what opportunities we might have at Bloomberg.
Some important things to note here is the distinction between the potential domestic markets on the West Coast compared to the East Coast. There's a big difference that separates the two of them, and that's venture capital activity.
San Francisco, we believe, is the perfect place to partner with technology firms that can facilitate this transition into the digital platforms.
Interesting idea to look at it, but I'm not sure that I quite buy it.
Bloomberg should invest and go into Washington, D.C. based on qualitative analysis.
You told us at the beginning of the semester that you were already thinking of expanding Bloomberg Radio to the West Coast with San Francisco.
To actually work so hard at something and then give a presentation and actually hear what they think and if they think it's going to help their business or not, it's very valuable to understand his mindset, what he gets from what we were presenting.
You know, you spend a numerous amount of hours collecting data and putting the presentation together, and to have someone say, not quite on the mark, it can be frustrating, but it's good practice because here you can't get fired.
This is the majority of our hard numbers here. We wanted to tell you the revenue and how easy it is to move in those markets, but then we kind of wanted to see if we could tell a story about these numbers.
Despite how you got there and how, I understand Chicago, I like the detail you presented.
So in case you aren't keeping track, that leaves 2 cities, LA and DC. If Bloomberg only cared about potential advertising revenue market size, we say LA.
So the reason why Chicago isn't on this list is because
we found that they would be able to get a minimum of 4 million and a maximum of 17 million, and at Chicago they would be able to get 3 million and a maximum of 10 million.
This is the most memorable thing in your presentation. You guys have done a very good job, not just this team, but everybody is really getting me to look hard at LA. Every week I leave this class with something that I hadn't thought about. I go back to New York, I talk to my team, and enthusiastically I'm saying, hey, guess what they told me this week? Last week it was Washington. We didn't really talk too much about Washington in the past, but really look at this data.
So to recap, next step, Chicago, and in the future, Washington, D.C. Thank you.
As far as insights are concerned, I got an awful lot of deeper information than I was originally expecting.
Huge success for the students. Huge success in every single way that we possibly could have asked for.
They will have the ability now to go and look at every single point that you made and look at your methodology as well as your rationale. You could not have done a better job.
They gave him different ways of thinking about it. They gave him different numbers. They gave him exactly what corporate immersion at its best can do, and that is new information to think about.